Jay here with Racer X. We're out at Glen Helm today testing one of our favorite older bikes, a 2008 CRF450. This bike was like the mainstay and kind of the class champion from 05 to 08 and would have won, keep on going if they hadn't have changed it so much. Dave Schmidt here from Schmidt Performance has picked up a good deal on one of these and fixed it up. We're going to talk about this 9-year-old bike with him. How'd you find this thing?
I found it at one of my customers' houses in the corner of his garage. I've been sitting there for a while. He'd been parting it out and selling stuff off it. The motor was blown up and just looked like a fun project bike, so I picked it up really cheap and started getting to work on it.
Yeah, you said it was $500, and then what was it missing? What'd you have to go round up for it?
Well, the motor, there's nothing was good in the motor. It had, the rod went through the cases. Suspension was missing. Pegs were missing. Almost every bolt on the bike was gone. Really, it was just anything that's salvageable was the frame and swing arm, really.
Cool. So you rounded up some bunch of parts for this thing, and tell us about what you did to the suspension on this thing.
Well, I was able to find a used set of suspension, actually through one of my customers was parting out another one. And the suspension on these bikes are really good. They just really need a basic revalve and set up for your weights. But we went ahead and did some additional coatings and some DLC on them to spice up the looks of it and set it up for our weight.
Yeah, I still prefer these over the air forks on a lot of the current bikes. This suspension is just some of my favorite suspension right here. The motor on this thing, what'd you do to get yourself a motor running?
Well, I found a motor. A guy had one from a fire. It was in really good shape, so we tore it down. And it has a little bit of time on it, so we cleaned it up and we threw a wrench rabbit kit at it, with the crank, the hot rod's crank and the Vertex piston, and threw a hot cam in it, a stage 2 hot cam, and just rebuilt it.
That's awesome. So, not too much money into this thing. And then what about the rest of the bike? Tell us some of the other things you did to this thing.
Well, I went through and made everything new. All OEM parts, airbox, sliders, stuff like that. Just kind of freshened it up. The wheels, I had found a stock set of wheels for cheap, and I threw, stock wheels don't look very well, so they're good. So I threw some Tusk rims on it to spice it up. Just had the stock hubs coated to give them a little bit better look, and that's pretty much it. Threw some Tusk rotors to get some good stopping power out of it, and some new brake lines, and that's pretty much it for the wheels.
Very cool, very cool. And what are some of the other parts? I noticed you got IMS pegs here, super sprockets, got a primary drive chain, hoses, cycloplastic, and then Magic did some really cool graphics for this thing, give it a really kind of more updated look. This bike doesn't look that dated, and at 9 years old, you kind of think 9 years old, but most of my cars are older than that, much to my wife's dismay. But this bike's still pretty good. What do you think you're gonna feel when you go ride this thing?
Out of all the Hondas I've tested doing suspension and stuff, it's still my favorite Honda of all time, even to date. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I haven't ridden one in a while, so it's gonna be fun to throw a leg back on it, and get on one of the bikes that I really like.
That's awesome. So I think we should go get this thing dirty and see how it still runs, and get some good laps on this thing out at the track today.
Awesome, let's do it. Hey guys, we just got done turning some motos on this 08 Honda project bike, and man, I gotta say, it's as fun as I remember. And coming off a modern day fuel injection bike, I thought this thing would be a little slower, a little more hesitant, but it's pretty good. Definitely can still be competitive, I think. I like the way the bike felt. Me building it, setting up for me, the bars and everything were right where they needed to be. Suspension was good, tires hooked up really, really well. This bike's just a ton of fun to ride. And with the modern bikes being about $10,000 out the door, a guy could come buy one of these, fix it up. We got about a little over $3,000 in this project, and have themselves a really good, fun, safe, competitive motorcycle. I'm really excited that we did this project. Thanks for watching.